And that's right, everybody. Welcome back once again to another edition of the Best Seat in the House podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rob Kramer, joined by my co-host, Daniel Bobo Curlin. And Dan, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Um, I'm doing good. A little bit aside from last night's loss, a horrible loss, and you know who was else disappointed from that loss last night? My mom.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. It was an ugly loss to kick off the Citi Field portion of the NLCS right now. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I mean, we got a lot of things to get into in today's episode, but let's start it off with the NLCS, obviously. Which right now, also, if you're a Yankee fan, I'm sure you're already aware of this, but as we're going to be putting this out tomorrow. But right now, the Yankees currently trail the Guardians 2-1 in the sixth inning as they're making a pitching change. So it'll be interesting to see if the Yankees can hold on or if the Guardians could climb right back into that series. However, Dan, on the other side, 100%, let's start off with our Metropolitans. It's been a very, very weird series so far. As we saw game one kickoff on Sunday night, the Mets ended up getting blown out of that game, even worse than last night, 9-0 in game one at Dodger Stadium, where Kodai Senga just didn't have it. And, to be fair, a lot of the Mets just didn't have it that night. They ended up getting shut out, lose the game, 9-0. And, so you say to yourself, okay, look, this team has gotten up off the mat time and time again this year. Let's see if they can do it again. Game two, they show up, and it's supposed to be a bullpen game for the Dodgers, as the Dodgers are really hampered with injuries to their starting rotation. And they went out there and smacked the crap out of the Dodgers, especially in the first two innings, where they jumped out to an early 6-0 lead. It was a great grand slam by the young Mark Vientos, who just continues to prove himself time and time again. And the Mets ended up even the series with a nice 7-3 victory on that front. But then come right back home to Citi Field yesterday, and you get punched right back in the mouth again by a damn good Dodgers team, 8-0 to lose game three at Citi Field. The Mets dropped to 11-5 all time in game threes at home. So Dan, series, the Mets are down 2-1 right now. They've been shut out in 2 out of the 3 games. What's your feeling going into game 4 tonight with Jose Quintana on the mound?
Well, I just feel like Quintana needs to keep this game close. So one thing, this momentum in the Mets side, I feel like it's nothing more draining than giving up that many runs, having to expect this offense to come from behind every time. That many runs, you're just setting it up for that. The other thing in the lineup, they need to have Jesse Winker at DH.
Yep. See, Dan, you're reading my mind too, because that's exactly where I was going to be going. At one point here, I was going to say Mets opt to start JD Martinez at DH again. Agree or disagree? Obviously, me and you both disagree. And look, it's no shot at JD Davis. JD Davis has had a lot of great moments this season. You
said
what'd you say?
Said JD Martinez. You said JD Davis by accident.
Okay. Yeah, I always do that. JD Martinez has had quite a few moments this year, man. He's been one of the guys that, you could really depend on. And one of the things that really helped turn this season around, him and Jose Iglesias combined, in my opinion. But he just, I don't like the matchup. I didn't like the matchups in game 3. Jesse Winker owns Walker Buehler. If you have Jesse Winker in there, maybe Jesse Winker does some damage against Buehler. No slight to JD Martinez, but him drawing a walk in the third inning yesterday is no big deal. All he does is gets on, he clogs the bases up because he's 37. He doesn't run very fast. So look, I like JD Martinez a lot. He serves a very big purpose on this team, no doubt about it. But I agree with you, man. I definitely would have started Winker, and to be honest, too, I'm looking at the lineup now too, and I love the fact that they have Bader in center field tonight, because look, Tyrone Taylor has had his moments as well this year, but he just has not looked great at the plate this postseason, specifically in the NLCS. And even though, look, you love his defense. I mean, that catch he made yesterday was incredible, where him and Starling Marte almost collided in the outfield there on the warning track. But I do think it's a good move putting Harrison Bader in there. And if it was me, look, another guy you have to give plenty of credit to is Jose Iglesias. Love the guy, love OMG, love what he did this year. He's not getting it done at the plate right now. And as a matter of fact, he hasn't been very great in the field either. He's made a couple of big misplays early on. He got off the hook on one in the last round, didn't get off the hook on the misplay he made against the Dodgers in this series. Now, if it was me, I'd be starting McNeil tonight. Let's see what McNeil's got. I know they feel like Yamamoto's stuff plays better against righties than it does lefties, but gee, man, I definitely would have made a couple of tweaks to the bottom of that lineup tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I think they should have put McNeil. I was hearing that they're running the same lineup. I was in that deli. You saw the footage, right? I was getting that sandwich.
Yeah, with Stevie Lou.
Yeah. I heard on some kind of station or whatever sports talk station, they're running the same lineup. Hey, what the fuck?
Well, it's almost the same lineup because they switched Taylor for Bader.
Yeah, but at that moment I heard the lineup they were going to be running in, and I was saying, is what they're running in really against the most important series of your life for a time that it's like the Mets playoff runs like these don't come around often, and you got to make the most of it. You do this to me as a Mets fan, and then the other thing I'm starting to question about turn got us there, but I'm questioning the right thing going after these pitchers, not going after a pitcher that can handle this many innings. I feel like.
Yeah, and same thing with Walker Buehler yesterday too, man. The Mets should have been able to get all over him. We saw he's been terrible this year. Coming into that game yesterday in the regular season, he was 1-5 with an ERA damn near 6. And in his only postseason start before that, he got bombed out by the Padres and allowed 6 runs in 5 innings. So for the Mets to just not even be able to touch him yesterday through 4 innings was just disgusting and infuriating to see that. But look, the Mets offense has been known to disappear at times every once in a while. But, even in this postseason, in this great run, let's not forget that game against Zach Wheeler where they didn't really wake up until the 8th inning. But, I mean, geez, Walker Buehler these days is no Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler's on a different level compared to that guy. And it's just really a shame that the Mets let that opportunity slip through their fingers. And now, tonight, Dan, is another thing. One more chance to get even tonight. Game 4, NLCS, 8:08 p.m. We're about 1 hour away from first pitch as we record here in the great state of New York. And the pitching matchup we're looking at tonight is just like we have been mentioning, Yamamoto against Jose Quintana. And I don't know if you caught this yesterday, Dan, but it did, as a Met fan that pays attention to everything, this did get under my skin that the announcer on Fox, who clearly hasn't watched any of these Met postseason games, was talking about Jose Quintana this year. And he said that Jose Quintana has thrown 11 scoreless innings. Now, any Met fan that knows and has been watching this team knows that it's not scoreless innings. Just because he has a 0 ERA doesn't mean he hasn't allowed any runs. He hasn't allowed any earned runs. He allowed the 1 unearned run in his last start. I mean, and look, I'm not taking anything away from Quintana. The guy's been amazing. But it just annoyed me that one of the announcers in the NLCS doesn't even know what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just stupid announcers. I'm starting to agree with that Sports Illustrated thing, that article saying about allowing the home announcers to do these broadcasts.
Oh, they need that bad, man. Could you imagine if in that Brewers Mets series we had like Bob Uecker and Gary Cohen calling the game? That would have been amazing.
That would have been. I just look at that, and when I looked at that, I just knew that would have been one of those double. It's out of here. It would have been a double out.
No doubt about it. When Pete hit that home run, you're right.
Yeah, because you know when big moments happen, that double out of here. You know what I know maybe they probably do it, but I kind of like remember the 2000 playoffs. I had the team radio feed on. Had Gary Cohen was in the booth with Howie Rose during the playoffs. If you remember, he was in a radio booth during the playoffs with Howie Rose. So
Yep.
Gary, so we had a couple of Gary Cohen moments like that. That would have been neat to see that. I could have easily seen Gary Cohen do like a double out of here with that Francisco Lindor home run.
Oh, no doubt about it, man. You're absolutely right about that. And yeah, well, you know, going to be getting a lot of double calls coming down the stretch here too. Is the way Jose Quintana's been pitching, my friend. As Quintana right now, he is just on a different planet at this point. Over the last 8 starts, including postseason, he is 4-1 with a 0.57 ERA. And yeah, show that grimace off. Let's go, brother. Let's go.
I
And
I think when there's an urgent situation that the Mets need an urgent win, it can't be done like consecutive games. But if there's a situation where an urgent win is needed, I go with the grimace shirt.
get the grimace going, man. Get the grimace. You know, I got on my Francisco Lindor jersey on. No, you might not be able to see that, but
yeah, the nice little one there. That Lindor jersey, a little throwback to when they had the road version of the play, which don't exist anymore.
Exactly. I miss those black New York jerseys. I think those were a great look.
Yeah, maybe they may bring it back next year. Who knows? But I just know one thing. Of course, you can see I went with this cap today because of the relation to the grimace. That day he grimaced throughout the first pitch. The grimace was wearing a Citi Connect cap like this.
Yeah, you're right, and that makes sense. Hey, man, you're gonna rock the purple grimace. You got to rock the Citi Connect Met hat. So I'm totally with you on that. Let's hope we got some grimace magic in our bag tonight. And then no matter what happens tonight, Game 5 of the NLCS is going to be tomorrow at 5:08 p.m. Stinks for me because I'm going to be at a wedding, my cousin's wedding. So I'm not too thrilled at the start time there. But either way, it's going to be a hell of a game tomorrow, Dan.
Let me ask you a question. Is that cousin a Yankees fan?
That cousin is a Yankees fan.
No wonder they would do this to you.
Oh, it's funny. I was talking to them too, and my cousin, he was like, he goes, "Well, how was I supposed to know the Mets were going to be in the playoffs? They never are."
Now, unfortunately, one of those things that you kind of have to. It's hard for me to want to plan things in October. I don't like planning vacations in October so far in advance. Usually, I just know usually around August. That's my mind vacation in October. I usually see like where the Mets are. Is there looks like there's a chance? Then I looked. Yeah. I'm not doing anything. I'm leaving October open. By the time August came along, leave October open. Even though maybe I could maybe take some because I do got some. I got up before the end of the year before peak holiday season starts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nice have a little thing. Nice have a little break. But I kind of knew that maybe this year don't really make any big plans in October. Maybe do some things in October, but maybe not really do any vacation plans in October because I just realized August that I do like not do anything outside the United States specifically. Maybe I United States, but has to be somewhere I could catch the game.
I'm telling you, man, if you would have asked me in May, I would have planned the wedding for October because I wouldn't have thought that there was any chance the Mets were going to be here right now. And hey, thank God they are. Thank God I've got that problem. It's a, as they call it, a first world problem to have, right?
Yep, exactly. You got a first world problem. Also, congratulations to your cousin. I gotta extend a congratulations to your cousin.
Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate that. I'll send that along.
And I'm sure you'll have your alerts like as soon as the ceremony finishes. You'll probably be looking on and off at your phone during the game via the Fox.
I already got my AirPods charged up. I'm going to be bringing that to the wedding tomorrow, and I'm going to have my game on the phone. So, I told my cousin, hey, I'm sorry if I'm I'm checked out until after game time, but I'm going to be locked in on game 5.
Sure, it'll be other guests there too doing that.
No doubt about it. I know half my family's going to be crowded around me watching that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be other people that have their phones, know how to that know how to use the Fox Sports app, that have their thing, and they'll be looking at Game 5, where, and hopefully today and tomorrow, hopefully the next 2 days, the Mets will necessitate that Game 6 watch party. I bought a $10 ticket to that watch party.
Very cool. I heard they announced that today.
Yeah, nice little donation to charity. I wonder
Yeah,
if
to the Mets Foundation.
I wonder if they're going to have any NLCS programs left over, because I want to buy one for my collection.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, because if not, I'll opt to buy one on eBay for my. I'll opt to buy one on eBay, because I'm seeing them on eBay for like 25 or something like that.
Oh,
But
that's not bad.
but if they have them there, I'll get it there. Save myself a couple of bucks. Get it there a little cheaper. Save me the shipping fees and stuff. But
Yeah, exactly.
I'll that's gonna be that. But still, we got to win today to make that to necessitate a watch party at Citi Field on Sunday, which is like $10. I'll go there, pack some snacks. Got some cheap snacks. Got some good. I'm gonna just pick up some good stuff for the. I got some stuff in the house that I could pack, that I could probably allow in, that I haven't yet. By the way, I realized I had some stuff I haven't opened yet, so it's perfect timing that I had some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't have that stuff opened yet, but as it's stuff ready, watch that. Maybe cheap soda for the bodega. You know what I mean, right?
Exactly. Got a couple of road sodas.
But that might be a bit challenging. That might be a bit challenging, road sodas, because those things.
I know.
You got to figure out. I can't replicate factory sealed, but
I got to get you one of those hats that have the beers on the side, you know?
yeah. But if I'm drinking, it's not going to be till after the game. Hopefully, after a Mets win.
Let's
Hopefully,
go. A little celebration.
yeah,
Let's go, my friend.
yeah.
And
Maybe I grab a beer, or maybe one beer at a maybe one brown bag beer, because I don't really want to go spend a lot at the bar. Just get a cheap
yeah,
dollar beer at a bodega. Just grab in a brown bag. Just grab,
exactly. Brown bag in it, buddy. Brown bag in it.
yeah,
And you know who's yeah,
brown bag it, then head on the Uber home. Brown bag
exactly.
brown bag in front of a bodega, then head on the Uber home from Woodside the rest of the way.
Exactly. And then get set for tomorrow. That we got to be looking at now as looking like the Mets still have it officially listed as TBD for tomorrow. But I already went in there and pretty much filled in Senga because so look, okay, obviously the Dodgers are starting Flaherty. Guy threw 7 shutout innings in game 1. He threw a gem. So they're lining him up. He's definitely starting game 5. Now Senga, I know there's been speculation that the Mets might decide to start David Peterson. They used Tyler McGill for basically 70 pitches last night, so he's pretty much out of the equation for really the remainder of the series. He's probably done. So I really was kind of hoping that they'd have a phantom injury pop up for him and get him off the roster, but it doesn't look like that's happening, at least before game 4 tonight. But when you look at what the options the Mets have, it really isn't too much. You pretty much have to try to squeeze 2 to 3 innings out of Senga tomorrow, and then let Peterson come in after that and do cleanup duty, because it's that's really the only options you have. Even if you start Peterson tomorrow, how much are you going to get out of him? He hasn't thrown more than 3 innings in the last 3 weeks. So, you pretty much only have him stretched out for maybe 60 pitches, maybe 70, on a high side. So I don't see the Mets going too far with David Peterson tomorrow. So that's the reason why I don't see them starting him. And when you look at the Mets options right now, as much as if it was me and everything was equal, and you knew if you could get a full day's work out of Peterson, I would start him tomorrow 100%. But under the circumstances, I think they're pretty much stuck with Senga. Dan, what do you think about that?
I guess it's how they have to go. It's fortunately how it is, but we know Singer is capable of coming up big, and I think I got to give credit to Singer for trying everything he can. He's being a team player here, and we just got to have faith that he can get 3 innings and get the ball to Peterson to just get us those innings.
Yeah. And the one thing I really hope too is that no matter what happens tonight, because obviously if they lose, it's all hands on deck tomorrow. You're down 3-1. But if they win tonight, no matter what happens, I want Kodai Senga to be on an even shorter leash than he was in game one. You could tell right away with the amount of walks that Senga was issuing that he didn't have it. And I thought that Carlos Mendoza stuck with him just a little bit too long. And I really hope that if you notice early on tomorrow that Senga doesn't have it, get him the hell out of the game because we don't have time to screw around,
Yeah, exactly. They need to do that. They need to be all hands on deck against this tough team. All right. I just have a feeling the Mets are going to make this interesting. I know some people didn't think it's much, but I think the Mets are going to be the most formidable opponent the Dodgers are going to face. At least
Yeah,
I want that. I want the Mets to
I
give
agree.
a fight.
I agree, man. I totally agree. And, I see a lot of Yankee fans are already talking trash, too, that if the Mets get to the World Series, that the Yankees are going to run through them. Hey, Yankee fans, I'll tell you this much. If the Mets get to the World Series and we have a Subway Series, if Aaron Judge continues to hit the way he's hit this whole postseason, you're not beating the Mets. So you're going to have to hope Aaron Judge wakes up at some point this postseason. Otherwise, you're not going to beat the Mets. Just like the Dodgers, the Dodgers are different than the Yankees because the Dodgers could get by without Ohtani hitting, even though everybody wanted to act like that home run Ohtani hit last night was so great. Who gives a shit? He hit a home run in a blowout game in the 8th inning off a stiff pitcher in Tyler McGill that shouldn't be anywhere near a playoff roster. I'm not giving Ohtani 1 ounce of credit for that. Every other time the guy has come up this series, outside of one at bat in game one, he hasn't cashed in. Ohtani is hitting like 200 this postseason. So the fact that he hit a 3-run home run in the 8th inning of a blowout game off a stiff pitcher, he's not getting any credit from me for that. So I still need to see more out of Ohtani. But the Dodgers are different because they still have Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez. The Yankees lineup is not that deep. The Yankees, after Soto, have Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. That's it. So, Yankee fans, you can talk your shit all you want, but you might end up regretting that. And by the way, let's transition to the Yankees right now, Dan. Actually, real quick, before we transition to the Yankees, final thoughts on the Mets. Overall, are you still overall positive about the Mets, and you still think that they're gonna find a way to even this thing up tonight and have a hell of a run after that?
I just have a feeling they're going to have here. I just got to go like Mets in 6 right now in this whole thing.
Okay, I'm with you. I feel like the Mets are going to win. Might be Mets in 7 in my opinion, but either way, it's going to be a tough ride, and it's not going to be easy. So and it's not going to be easy for the Dodgers either. Let's not forget that the Dodgers aren't going to get off easy on this thing either. So let's definitely enjoy that, my friend, and we'll move on to the Yankees now. Which, by the way, we'll go to a Yankee live score update. And right now, the Yankees, who are currently leading the American League Championship Series 2-0 over the Guardians. They won the first 2 games at Yankee Stadium. Well, the Guardians are returning that favor tonight, and through 7 innings in Cleveland, currently lead the Yankees 3-1. So it's a pitcher's duel over there tonight, which, it usually is over there in Cleveland. It's a pretty good pitcher's ballpark. They usually pitch pretty well there. So it's going to be, all about the Yankees now. Let's see if that Yankee offense can wake up, which in this game so far, it has not. But Dan, right now, Yankees trailing 3-1. The Guardians trying to get back in this series. What's your overall feeling about this series so far? And do you feel like many feel that it's a foregone conclusion the Yankees are going to win this thing?
I just have a weird feeling that this goes up as many as six. I don't know. I just have a feeling, and I'm sorry about this to any of my friends from Cleveland, but Cleveland always seems to always choke when they're one win away from winning the series.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. We all think back to the 2016 World Series, and we all think back to the 1997 World Series, and so there's plenty of cases that back up what you're saying. But you know what though, I'll still say this: if Cleveland wins this game tonight, this series is far from over, because all Cleveland has to do is win 2 out of 3 in this ballpark to give themselves a chance. Because look, you don't want to go back to Yankee Stadium down 3-2, but either way, you want the series to go back to Yankee Stadium, and I'd be surprised if the Guardians won all 3 in Cleveland. Which, by the way, let's not forget, that's what happened in the 2017 ALCS. The Yankees played against the Houston Astros. The Yankees lost the first 2 in Houston. The Yankees won the next 3 at Yankee Stadium, and then the Yankees lost the next 2 in Houston. So this kind of thing's been done before. We've seen the home teams win every game of a series before, so it wouldn't be unprecedented. But I think the Yankees are probably going to find a way to at least win one game over there in Cleveland. So it's a really, really big deal for the Guardians to make sure that they defend their home turf.
Yep, exactly, and we'll there.
Yeah. Yeah, and now no matter what happens tonight, obviously it's 3-1. It's still, the game is far from over. We're in the 8th inning right now, so definitely far from over. But if we're looking ahead till tomorrow now, where for Game 4 of the ALCS, the Yankees will have Luis Gil on the mound for the first time in the postseason, his playoff debut, pitching Game 4 in Cleveland against the righty. I thought I wrote his name down here. I forget his name, but the kid was 3-10 in the regular season with an ERA almost 5. His name is Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams, 3-10 with a 4.86 ERA. So we're not really getting a top of the line starting pitching matchup. This isn't exactly Garrett Cole against Shane Bieber here. Luis Gil had a really good season overall as a rookie for the Yankees. Obviously, he kind of came back down to earth in the second half. But what do you think about this Game 4 going on now, Dan? Because this is especially if the Guardians win this game tonight. If the Yankees end up coming back and winning and go up 3-0, it doesn't even matter. They could roll anybody out there. They could pitch me or you tomorrow if they want. It's no big deal. But if it's 2-1 going into this now, you got 2 pitchers in a series that's heated back up again now that don't really have any postseason experience. And the guy that the Indians are running out there, or the Guardians, I'm sorry, are running out there, didn't even have regular season success this year. So what do you think about that matchup tomorrow?
I think this is going to go down to the bullpen in this game.
And the Yankees have the edge in bullpen, probably.
Yeah, so it's going to be down to who outs in the bullpen.
Yeah, although to be fair to Cleveland, I think overall the Yankees probably have a better bullpen. And by the way, we got to give a lot of credit to the Yankees' former closer right now, Clay Holmes, who has just completely shifted it into gear in the postseason. Clay Holmes, who me and you constantly questioned for great reason in the regular season because he led the league in blown saves this year. We constantly questioned if the Yankees could go far with him on their team. And we were actually saying specifically as closer, he's been bumped back to really the 6th or 7th inning now to kind of having Luke Weaver close games out now. But, when you look at, running a guy out there like Clay Holmes, he actually has now set the record for most consecutive scoreless innings to start a playoff career for a pitcher. So, look, you got to give credit to Clay Holmes. He's come to play. But the big factor in this whole thing is that Emmanuel Clace, the the Guardians closer is the best pitcher in either bullpen in this series. So they have the edge there, but I think the Yankees probably have an edge in their bullpen overall.
Yeah, exactly. I probably feel like the Yankees have the edge of their bullpen in this game.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So big thing tomorrow for the Yankees now. And the last thing too on there, real quick, actually, a couple of little things there. I, even as a Met fan who, look, I'm a New Yorker. I watch the Yankees too. I got a lot of, obviously we do our show, so you have to be knowledgeable of what's going on with the Yankees anyway. But, I watch the Yankees just to see what's going on with them. I got a lot of friends and family that are Yankee fans, so you keep tabs on them. And holy crap, man, it was killing me, even not as a Yankee fan, to see them, specifically Aaron Boone, keep penciling in the catcher Austin Wells as the number 4 hitter. They had him batting cleanup against the for the whole postseason so far. And it's just insane, man. This guy could not hit anything. He's hitting way under the Mendoza line. He hasn't done anything this postseason, and it took until now to get him out of the lineup because they're facing someone that didn't match up as well against him tonight. But I mean, man, it made me so happy to read that lineup tonight and see that Giancarlo Stanton was actually batting behind Judge tonight. Because look, the one thing we're going to keep saying too is that Aaron Judge is not hitting, but thank God Giancarlo Stanton is. But how do you expect Judge to hit when the guy you put behind him to protect him in the lineup is Austin Wells, and he's a stiff and he can't hit? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me to have that guy out there. At least if you have Giancarlo Stanton batting cleanup, then you provide Judge with a little extra protection.
All I can say is that don't make no sense.
It didn't, and it doesn't. You're right about that, man. It didn't. Like you Austin Wells was terrible. So definitely good job by Boone moving him out. Although, to be honest, I feel like once we switch back to a righty tomorrow, that they're going to go right back to putting Austin Wells in that cleanup spot, which is just a dumb move. But look, they'll probably even talk about how the change in the Yankees lineup tonight didn't help things, which we all know in baseball you can't look at it that closely. But either way, Yankees with some big things going on here as they head to the 8th inning now, down 3-1 in Game 3 of the ALCS in Cleveland. So we'll keep our eye on that as we round out the show here. Yankees looking to go up 3-0, and the Guardians looking to get back in the series and cut the Yankees' lead in half. With that, Dan, let's jump over to a little football right now, and we'll start off with your New York Football Giants, where you were, as a matter of fact, this past Sunday at Giants Stadium, I'm going back 13 years, at MetLife Stadium.
Don't worry about that. Just like us Met fans always call Citi Field something called Shea Stadium, I've still called the Giants Stadium from time to
time. Force a habit. We basically did it our whole lives up until they gave us MetLife a couple of years ago. So definitely a force of habit there. But your Giants did not have a great night. You were in the building that night too, so pretty cool that you got to check that out and have some up close and personal experience there with your New York Giants. Unfortunately, it didn't go their way. Giants ended up losing that game 17-7. They were playing without. Yeah, there you go.
For those who didn't see the other day, that meant our Patreon show, definitely subscribe, $5. They gave out this bobblehead of Tom Coughlin, as you see here. A very weird. The last time I seen the Giants give out was the day Eli Manning's retired. They gave out a bobblehead of Eli. So that's you see there, a nice little extra little item I have there in my collection now.
Very cool. Can't beat Tom Coughlin, one of the greatest coaches in Giants history. So that's an awesome giveaway they had there. And overall, what'd you think? Of your team that night? I mean, look, obviously it wasn't the outcome you wanted. The offense didn't look as nearly as good as they looked against the Seahawks the previous game. But you have to factor in no Singletary, no Nabers. Both of those guys are getting a little healthier. We'll have an update on at least one of those guys in a moment. But Dan, how'd you think your team looked on Sunday night?
I just feel like they looked sluggish. Like Daniel Jones didn't look like he had anyone to throw to. He didn't have anyone on game. There was just nothing there. They could not finish drives. They were big plays on the several drives, and they could not finish it. And they have no field goal kicker.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they're playing shorthanded. Obviously with the injuries and like you said, the kicker too. But one thing that you can say, I agree with you. They did look sluggish. I agree with you. They did not look on their A game like they really did actually against the Seahawks, which you have to give credit to Daniel Jones and Brian Daboll for, because also in that game, they didn't have Nabers and they didn't have Singletary. So it's not like it was a brand new circumstance this week not having those guys. They were just able to get through it against the Seahawks and not against the Bengals this week, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was surprised to see like an insane amount of Bengals fans in that section that I was sitting in, that the Miller Lite VIP suite or whatever it was. Like some people my sisters knew, like one of my sister's friends just was sending these tickets my sister's way, and my sister said, "Nah, don't." She said, like, don't send it to her. She knows some. Says her brother, which is me, would want these tickets, so I did that. I did that, and I gave it to three Giants fans I knew. I contacted some Giants fans that I knew. Hey, you want these tickets? And so there's a couple of Giants fans met up would be there in the Meadowlands. They went there, had a good credit. Another big L in addition to the Giants game. New Jersey Transit. I,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. New Jersey Transit and Sunday Night Football don't mix. Like I don't know what it is, that train looks like it moved super slow on the return trip. I don't know why. It felt like it moved quicker on the way there. The other thing I have to say about New Jersey Transit, remember I was trying to film some video of the trek to the stadium. The
Yeah.
window, just talk about it, such a dirty window, like completely filthy window. Like that's the one area they cut corners is the windows. Apparently, in New Jersey Transit, because I could not see shit when I'm trying to post. I don't know if you've ever taken New Jersey Transit to MetLife Stadium. It takes this big turn when you transfer at Secaucus. It takes this big turn that circles,
Mm-hmm.
that then goes. Then for some reason they don't have a direct train line to the Meadowlands from New York. They just go. You have to transfer at Secaucus, then go
Yeah.
back. That circles back in the other direction, makes this big turn because they opted to build the track on the train to the Meadowlands from Secaucus to the Meadowlands on existing an abandoned freight rail line is what they built that train station on.
Oh
So
yeah. I remember. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
yeah, so it's like the way they did that. It's kind of weird because you go from the city, and all of a sudden you do this train circles back, and all of a sudden you see yourself looks like you're headed toward the city because you see the city in the horizon, and you see him right there in the horizon. So it's like weird how it's like weird how it's set up there when if you take in New Jersey Transit to MetLife Stadium. Looks like
Mm-hmm.
great service on paper. I think kind of Jersey Transit still's, I don't know why they don't know how to run a transit agency. Whoever's running Jersey Transit, I don't
Yeah,
know.
man. Yeah. Exactly. And what's it called when you're looking at this now? Too. The one thing the Giants can really take away from this game, or the last couple of games actually, where they've been banged up offensively, is that you can look and say, okay, look, in the game against Seattle, they look great. In the game against the Bengals, they didn't. Well, now you're going to be getting a big upgrade this coming up week, and it couldn't have come at a better time, specifically against the upcoming opponent. But apparently, wide receiver Malik Nabers was cleared by an independent concussion specialist today from the New York Giants, literally just a couple of hours ago. Within the last 2 or 3 hours, he was cleared from concussion protocol. and has been allowed to return to practice. That is from the great Giants reporter Pat Leonard. So shout out to him. You can follow him on Twitter at Pat Leonard. Yeah, definitely a interesting move there for the Giants, man, because they need as many weapons for Daniel Jones as possible, and getting your best wide receiver out there is a cherry on top, right?
Yeah, exactly. I expect the Giants to have a much better game this week. This is literally a game they need to win to keep any hope of their season making the playoffs alive.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And just like we said, it's a big divisional opponent, man. They already got the Cowboys out of the way earlier this year. They played the Commanders, and now time to take on the Philadelphia Eagles as the Eagles come to town on Sunday afternoon for a 1 p.m. game. This is not the Eagle powerhouse that we've really seen over the last year or two. This team definitely has a lot more question marks than the last couple of years. Although, Saquon coming back to MetLife is going to be something that obviously is going to garner a lot of attention. But there's going to be an opportunity for the Giants here. I don't think this is going to be one of those slam dunk blowout games that we saw, even dating back to the Giant and Eagle playoff game from 2 years ago. So I think the Giants are going to be able to hang in there. They're going to have their opportunities. And the fact is, against this team, and a head coach that's on the hot seat right now, believe it or not, Nick Sirianni, the Giants just have to take advantage of their opportunities.
Yeah, I really want the Giants to beat the fuck out of the Eagles. I think it's a nice way to just start the Sunday seeing the Giants win, then hopefully wrap it up with what will hopefully be a nice little back-to-back day. A lot of anxiety, I can tell you that's going to be Sunday for me.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it, man. And one more thing before we move on from the Giants, though. I did want to shine a little light on this former New York Jets tackle. No, we're not talking about a former New York Jet like Bryce Huff that signed there and has been, a model citizen over there, or Saquon Barkley, since going over there, has done and said all the right things down in Philly. This guy, a former first-round draft pick of the New York Jets, number 11 overall in 2020. One of the biggest stiff first-round picks I've ever seen in my life, too, by the way. Former Jets and current Eagles left tackle Mekhi Becton says he's dreading returning to shitty MetLife Stadium. Now, look, us Jet fans and Giants fans, who've been to MetLife, we know MetLife Stadium is no Lambeau Field. We know it's no Cowboy Stadium. It's a good field, though. But you know what, though? I don't want to hear this guy denigrating our stadium from one of the biggest draft busts the Jets have ever picked. This guy stinks. He almost ate his way out of the NFL because he blew up to 400 pounds when he got his knee hurt. And he's been a complete waste of time. He's been a little bit better on the Eagles, but I think that's because he's fighting for his professional life. And every time this guy opens his mouth, he sticks his foot in it. He's talking shit about MetLife Stadium now. And then last week when Jets head coach Robert Saleh got fired, and look, a lot of Jet fans were happy about it, myself included, for multitude of reasons, but nothing having to do against Robert Saleh personally. I felt bad for Robert Saleh. He's a nice guy. He's got a nice family. I didn't want to see Robert Saleh lose his job on a personal level, so it was all professional. I didn't think he was a great coach. So that's a different story. Meanwhile, Mekhi Becton, shortly after the firing, was posting stuff on his Instagram, basically dancing on the grave of Robert Saleh. Meanwhile, Robert Saleh was one of his biggest advocates. All the guy did ever was say good things about him, try to build him up, give him chance after chance. And this is how this guy repays him. I would love to see Mekhi Becton get decked on Sunday against the Giants and just have the Giants blow that shit team out.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to see that. And then there is one thing I do have to say about MetLife Stadium, though. The turf can be a little bit of an issue.
No, the turf is definitely an issue. No doubt about it. And that's what I'm saying. Every Jet fan and Giant fan knows that. We know the problem with with this stadium. We know the things that suck about MetLife Stadium. But you know what? Maybe it would be a little bit different if a guy that actually has some weight, like, let's say Michael Strahan, who never played at MetLife, but let's say Michael Strahan came out and said something about the turf at MetLife, or Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, or a guy that's actually done something, maybe even Odell Beckham Jr., who used to play there and has done more at MetLife Stadium than the garbage left tackle the Jets drafted in the first round in 2020, Mekhi Becton. I don't want to hear him open his mouth and run down our stadium, no matter how shitty it is. I don't care if it's the worst stadium in the entire world. I don't want to see this guy open up his stupid lips and run it down. Keep your mouth shut and stay in Philadelphia, Mekhi. Nobody wants to hear from you.
Yeah, go back. Freaking shut the fuck up. go, go grab a nice pregame giant cup of shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm with you. You hit the nail on the head. I couldn't have said it better myself. And yeah, so the Giants getting set now for a big game against the Eagles. And now we'll turn our attention to the Jets, who their entire season is pretty much on the line on Sunday. Once again, how many times have we said that, Dan? Over the last 2 years, how many times has the Jets season been on the line at some point? And, well, it's on the line again this year, or this week now, as they roll into Pittsburgh and what was formerly known as Heinz Field over there in Pittsburgh now. The Jets lost 23-20 on Monday Night Football to the Bills last week. It was a really crappy game where all the penalties were insane, the amount of penalties. Some were real penalties, and a lot of them were garbage, imaginary penalties by the referees who suck. But either way, the Jets kicker pretty much cost them the game, as Aaron Rodgers had one of his best games as a Jet and still managed to lose because his kicker missed 2 field goals, and one of his supposedly best wide receivers, Mike Williams, doesn't know how to run a route that he ended up running wrong. Rodgers underthrew it to correct him and ends up getting intercepted to end the game there on the final drive, where the Jets had a chance to either win or tie the game. But that will all be, you won't have to worry about throwing the ball to Mike Williams in big moments anymore, because the Jets have reunited the dream team. That's right, my friends. They've traded for Davante Adams, a future Hall of Fame wide receiver, 31 years old, formerly of the Green Bay Packers with Rodgers, currently with the Jets, but formerly also of the Las Vegas Raiders, where he's been out there for the last 2 or 3 years. And he comes here now, and it looks like it's not going to be a rental situation. I mean, they'll kind of treat it like that, but they already reworked his deal, where he was originally owed $12 million on the cap, and oh my God, Aaron Judge has just done it, Dan. I just want to cut in as we're recording this right now. Aaron Judge has just had his postseason moment with the Yankees, and it's a pretty big one, man. 8th inning 2-run shot to tie the game 3-3 between him and between the Yankees and the Guardians right now. So he got them right back in the game there. So real quick before we finish up talking about the Jets, that's a damn big moment for Aaron Judge, right?
Yeah, that's a big moment for Aaron Judge. Probably going to be something, depending how this series goes, something that they'll probably rerun like crazy on Yes Network. I don't know how good of a I have a hard time making a running joke about what Yes Network reruns during rain delays, because I don't really watch Yes Network that much. I don't watch the Yankees that much, aside from the only thing I just keep track of the Yankees
They
too.
play they play Yankeeography during the rain delays and stuff. They don't play games like we do.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. It's like the reverse. That's like the reverse thing that I've heard. Like I've seen, you would expect them to run like documentaries during rain delays. They actually but I kind of wonder if they run the same one, like the running gag, like how we make the running joke is this. Oh yeah, rain delay. The highlight, the 2015 highlight film for the gazillionth time. Let's show that during rain delay.
Yep. Yep. Well, and also too, Dan, just to add to the hugeness of that Judge home run, we were just talking about the bullpens before. We were talking about the best pitcher in both bullpens, Emmanuel Clace, who had an ERA under 1 as a closer this year, best in baseball by far. The home run was a 2-run shot off of Emmanuel Clace. So that is, it's not to the level of the Pete Alonso home run off Devin Williams earlier this year because the Mets were literally facing elimination and the Yankees are up 2-0 right now. But that's his postseason moment. And if you're a Yankee fan, you got to hope that gets Judge going. But
yeah, probably whatever happens during the season because it's up in the air. What could happen because it's still baseball. It's unpredictable. Weird things happen in baseball. That game might, depending what happens with this game, could be rerun a bunch of times on during the winter. And also, I just feel like that Pete Alonso home run off of that game, that wild card game, I feel like it's going to be rerun a lot during the winter, and it's going to be rerun a lot during rain delays in the future.
Well, then it just keeps going. Giancarlo Stanton, who I've been saying needs to be the guy hitting behind Aaron Judge, just followed him up with a solo home run. Yankees lead 4-3 in the 8th inning against Cleveland. And boy, did that turn quickly or what?
That is crazy. I can only imagine what my mom's friend in Ohio is got to be like.
Yeah, man, no doubt about it. I could hear my Yankee fan brother-in-law screaming from here.
Yeah. So I gotta imagine what my mom's friend is gonna be like having to hear see that. Because I just think of that like my husband and Con do see stuff like this and I just saw it happen to them. But yeah, that's got to be crazy. That even though for some reason I don't really feel like Yankee fans have that. I don't feel like they have that same energy as Met fans.
Well, it depends. The Yankees,
Yeah.
they're a different breed. They're definitely a
Yeah,
different breed.
exactly. I just feel like there's probably some that don't remember 2009, but I feel like there's a lot of people who remember 2009. I've a lot of Yankee fans that have multiple championships in their lifetime. In their, they have those memories that they can hold on to for years. Us Met fans, there's a whole large line of us that don't have that.
Yeah,
We
it's mostly bad. It's mostly bad memories too.
yeah,
But you know what? Let's
and please Mets, give us this give us this one that we can have once.
let's hope so, man. Let's hope. But let's switch back to the Jets now. We'll wrap up here. We're about 15 minutes away from Mets' first pitch, so we'll wrap this up pretty quick now. Just to get back to the Jets now, as the Jets lost to the Bills, they trade for Davante Adams. So Dan, I ask you, with everything we've discussed with the Jets so far this year, is it too little, too late? I mean, they're 2-4, so right now, obviously, they've played 6 games and they've lost 4 of them. They don't look great, but the fact of the matter is, too, the Jets have lost 3 straight games now, right? They've lost 3 straight games by a combined 10 points. 10 points. And if their field goal kicker didn't miss 4 field goals in those games, they could have won 2 of them. So it's you can look at it through a lot of different lenses this season so far. But then you have to remember, okay, if they beat the Steelers this Sunday, then they have the Patriots right after that. So there is a path to get back to 4-4 relatively quickly. Dan, from your perspective, is it too little, too late right now?
I feel like it could be they could either do one thing, either go on a nice run and make the playoffs, or they're gonna just come up short. I feel one of those two scenarios is gonna happen. There's no ground, there's no completely just bomb and not make the playoffs by a lot. It's gonna be one of those two scenarios. They're gonna just pull off a big run and sneak right into the playoffs. They're just gonna barely playoffs by one win short.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that, man. I could definitely see them being in that mix and missing out, or just going on a complete tear like Brady and the Buccaneers did. So there's still a lot of season left to play, but it all starts on Sunday against the Steelers. Because if the Jets don't win on Sunday in Pittsburgh and drop to 2-5, it's done. It's done. You're not digging yourself out of a 2-5 hole. I mean, well, believe it or not, the 2002 Jets did do that. The 2002 Jets, the last time the Jets won the division and the last time the Jets had a home playoff game, they started off that season 2-5. That was the year where Herm Edwards gave his famous "You play to win the game" speech, and that started everything. And they benched Testaverde and started Pennington and got on that roll. There's not going to be a quarterback change this year, no doubt about that. But it all starts this Sunday in Pittsburgh, Dan. And the guy that's going to be leading the charge for Pittsburgh is not the quarterback Justin Fields that started the season 4-2 so far for them. It'll be Russell Wilson, the former Super Bowl champion with the Seahawks and the last couple of years with the Denver Broncos. Now he's moved on to Pittsburgh, and he's getting the nod from Mike Tomlin in a very un-Steelers-like move, switching quarterbacks midstream here. What do you think about this quarterback swap here, Dan?
I just feel this is a perfect opportunity for the Jets to win. They're in complete shambles. They just made a decision that probably didn't make sense for the Steelers. They got to pounce on it. That's all I got to say. They got to pounce on it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to. This, in my opinion, is a mistake. And when another team, specifically a really good team and a really well coached team like the Steelers, makes an obvious mistake like this, then you have to take advantage of it. I'm totally with you on that. And with that, Dan, I think that's going to do it for us today, as we are now a mere 10 minutes away from first pitch on an incredible night here where we watched in live time the New York Yankees erase a 2-run deficit to go back on top in the 8th inning, and we get ready for Game 4 of the NLCS tonight. So, Dan, before we get out of here, do you have anything like to plug for yourself?
Sure, I got to plug my Twitter account, Bobo BNYC, Instagram, Bobo718DK. That's the same username on Threads, YouTube, one word, Daniel Curlin. Also, your Patreon subscribers, you guys get 2 weeks early access whenever I post videos on YouTube. So there'll be stuff there on YouTube. 2 weeks early access. You definitely got out those videos out there on my YouTube. There'll be plenty of stuff. I got to come up with some stuff. But I'll jumpstart my YouTube. Also, you get early access to Trackside Minute. I still got some of my scripts for Trackside Minute ready because I'm a little bit behind because of everything happening at once. Even though I've been watching the races because I have them DVR'd. I DVR'd them, watched them on off days, and I've even been watching, and I've even been using the DVR for our football shows because I DVR'd the football games. So like the Jets game, I watched it via DVR the next day and stuff. So I'll be doing the same thing. I'll have the Jets game DVR'd to watch on Monday, so I could analyze it after work.
It's harder to keep track of everything these days now, where we got the Yankees and the Mets in the league championship series, the Jets and the Giants going on at the same time, the Rangers season starting up, the Knicks are in preseason, so there's a lot going on right now. So definitely, I agree with you, man. Definitely good use of your DVR.
Yeah, exactly. And another question I got to ask, and don't tell, I hate to say this, but I don't have BN Plus account. I was using my sister's Hulu account for access to the Rangers game tonight, which I kind of wonder, is the game available as an archive on
Hulu
or ESPN Plus? Is that available as an archive?
I think it's on archive on ESPN Plus, but not on Hulu.
Yeah, so maybe that I'll just probably have to stuff. But I think I'll maybe be able to get enough of gist of what happened in the game watching the highlights, because the highlights the thumbnails I feel like don't spoil the game. I don't know if you notice those highlight videos. So maybe I'll probably just be watching the highlight videos of this to try to figure that one out. Normally, in the case that this is a TV broadcast, I would have DVR'd the Rangers game to watch tomorrow. I would have watched the Rangers game after work. I would have taken a little nap, maybe an hour or two, maybe 2 hours. Then after waking up for that post work nap that I took at 9 o'clock, around the time I get home from work, then watch the Rangers game and get to watch it maybe in a short amount of time because I fast forward the commercials.
Very true. Living the life, my friend. And that's going to do it for us this week, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in with us and hanging out here for another episode of Best Seat in the House podcast. Don't forget, you could find us on Twitter at bsith_podcast and also on Instagram at Best Seat in the House podcast. You can check us out on Twitch and Kick and everywhere else exactly as well. So thank you so much to everybody for the support. As always, don't forget our Patreon, patreon.com/Best Seat in the House podcast. And yeah, that's going to do it for us this week. So for my co-host, Daniel Bobo Curlin, I'm Rob Kramer. This is the Best Seat in the House podcast, and we'll catch you next week, everybody. Let's go, Mets.
Yep. LFGM, baby. Push the button, Frank.